Archimex login confirmed.
Welcome to the Lodge. You've accessed
the Lodgecast experience.
Warning, warning. Dangerous spoilers ahead. Enjoy.
The Lodgecast is a little podcast where we watch weird movies, so you don't have to.
The Lodgecast, baby.
Lodgecast, gonna smoke this. Lodgecast, missing movie pass. Lodgecast.
We're gonna watch some crap.
Lodgecast.
And then the Lodge Master chats.
With Lucas and Bishki.
Episode 186. The Deliverance.
Hello and welcome to a Glenn extra close episode of the Lodgecast. I'm Lodgecast. With me as always, his brother Bishki.
Mama's Revenge.
We got brother Lucas.
Because they're spooky season, son.
Lodge Mistress Milster's here. And our special guest this evening, returning champions, brother Ben.
I won't be ignored.
And brother Josh.
Hey.
Wow, what a stacked cast.
I can't wait to cast with these folks.
We are
Cast out.
in the Cine Lounge. This is a Netflix film.
Ba-bong.
And it's called The Deliverance?
The.
The
And it is a
Deliverance.
horror movie?
I think so. It says horror thriller. I know very precious little about this.
Yep.
But I do know.
I know one thing.
Okay.
I think we're thinking of the same thing and
Yeah.
don't say
There
it.
was some shit going around.
Don't
No,
say.
I thought we already said it in the pun of the intro.
Oh, Glenn Close is
Yes,
in it?
yes, that's the
okay,
thing.
okay.
Glenn Close.
All I know is a thumbnail image of her character, and that's it.
Glenn Close
Oh, good.
is the reason for the season, bringing us all together
She's
tonight.
a pre-certified Salad Dragon character.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, LodgeCon idea outfit.
Yeah.
I mean, it is like Medea-esque, dare I say, right?
We'll see.
We
We'll
have no
see.
idea.
This is going to
We'll
be
see.
unrecognizable. Let's just put it that way.
But she always commits,
Always.
which is
Oh,
why
man.
I love anything with her in it.
But the
She's gonna commit.
other reason that this is, a potential dragon's nest is the writer-director, Lee Daniels.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
He
Wow.
has such a wild career. There's a film called Shadowboxer.
Correct.
that is
A
one of
Lodge
our-
classic.
A Lodge, which when I won trivia the first year of the Lodge,
Oh, wow.
Brother Dave and I were allowed to pick a selection, and we picked Lee Daniels' Shadowboxer because we just knew it was instant Lodge
totally
classic.
forgot about that.
Yeah.
Finally remember that.
Shadowboxer involves two hitmen, and a hit woman,
Yes.
Helen Mirren and Cuba Gooding Jr., who fall in love. That is a scorcher of an affair.
Oh, man.
But wait. Am I remembering this correctly? That Helen Mirren plays Cuba's stepmother?
I think there's some incest.
But also like lover, yeah.
Yes.
Sleepwalkers
Listen,
motif.
it's great. I mean, you got to check it out. But he's also, he went on to do Precious based on the novel Push by Sapphire.
Okay.
Paperboy.
He did the Paperboy and he did
Paperboy's wild.
the
Paperboy's
Butler.
wild.
I saw the Butler.
Did not see either.
John
of those.
Cusack is Nixon.
There's
Special.
some great windbreaker tracksuit couture
Yeah, that were very inspirational for Matt and I.
that Oprah wears
Yeah.
in that film.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, the only one I
Also,
haven't
the
seen is
creator of the TV show Empire, which is very popular.
Yes.
Oh.
he's got a lot going on.
I didn't see the Billie Holiday one that came out last year, but this one.
Lee Daniels has got a lot going on.
Yeah.
He's very interesting. So when he and Glenn Close hook up, God only knows what
I
this
can't
is.
wait.
Sparks
fly.
are flying.
Wow, this is a lot for me because I guess I should admit I've never seen the Lee Daniels movie before.
Oh, shit.
I mean, is Shadowboxer where to start?
Yes,
Yeah.
I have failed you as a husband.
deep
We
dive.
need to work on this.
Full frontal Stephen Dorff.
Full frontal Stephen
Those are the 4 words.
Dwarf.
Stephen.
Wow, sign me up.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know anything. I'm going in so clean to this movie, and Milster is even cleaner.
I am pristine.
So, does anybody have anything that they want out of whatever the fuck we're about to see? Are there any hopes, dreams?
I want some foul mouthed Glenn Close.
I
God, that'd be
want
good.
one juicy leafy salad.
Just
dressing.
one.
Give me one.
Give me one.
yeah.
Utah, give me one.
I think you're guaranteed that.
I think you're guaranteed.
All right.
Let's go fucking salad dragon hunting, y'all. The Deliverance. Here we come.
Get deliverance.
Love and light.
Is a mystery. All I know is why you're always taking hold of the apple in my eye. I'm in a crowded room, can't hear a single word they say. They're just talking faces. I don't believe I know your name. On my fingertips, I hear you whispering. I feel you all over me. I'm never gonna be the same. What you trying to do to me? Just tell me the rules of the game. Hey, you see me shaking right through those surprise. I'm looking this way. Deliver me from your spell. Give me more, give me more, give me more. Save me. Deliver me. Deliver me. Deliver me. Give me more, give me more, give me more. Save me. Give me, 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 give me,
Oh my God, we got delivered, y'all. We got delivered so
Praise
hard.
Jesus. Pass the crack pipe.
Wow. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't.
Not that.
No, it was unexpected for sure.
Before we get into it, I just have to say Lee Daniels' production company logo is such a ripoff of Scott Free. Ridley Scott's.
We kept saying it's Scott Free.
It's Scott Free.
And then all of a sudden Lee Daniels.
It seemed like an extra gussied up Scott Free, and then it like mutated into Lee Daniels Productions.
Lee Daniels Film Company.
That was amazing. That like set the tone as this dude doesn't give a fuck, which is great. But before we let you know what that means,
Fishy! What's that shot?
Rotten Tomatoes. Ebony Jackson, a struggling single mother fighting her personal demons, moves her family into a new home for a fresh start. But when strange occurrences inside the home raise the suspicions of Child Protection Services and threatens to tear the family apart, Ebony soon finds herself locked in a battle for her life and the souls of her children, inspired by a true story. Period.
Dun, dun, dun.
This is all true.
so yeah. There's a lot of words at the beginning about sin and the
Forgiveness.
true story, but we're really just here for Glenn, at least initially. And
Oh man.
we get an eye load of her. I mean, she is all in all the salad character.
I guess I'm just a character.
Yeah, she's like Marlon Brando in The Godfather, except she's the grandmother in this, but like the same kind of charisma and gravitas and weight that comes with all that.
That's right. So
I mean, it is Mama, like, you know, just in a new setting.
Yeah.
Like, she is.
Yeah.
she doesn't
with a
take any sass.
She doesn't take any
New
shit.
wardrobe.
She looks terrifying.
So, Ben, and or Josh, please describe her look. Like when you saw that first close up in the church.
Oh, such a great character intro.
Are you familiar with RuPaul's Drag Race? Near the end of every season, they invite normal people on the show, and the drag queens have to make them over.
Oh, man.
And that's what it felt like. Glenn had showed up that day because she's got like crazy full beat.
Yes.
She's got super crunchy wig.
She got her eyebrows blocked out.
Yeah.
And like drag eyebrows drawn over them.
Airbrush. She looks spray painted.
Completely spray painted on makeup. Yeah. I mean, she is a sight to behold. And
Some sexy attire.
Very sexy.
Cleave.
She's like a tiger, like just like a monster tiger, and like a Bengal tiger.
Like lots of ripped up denim too. Like she was showing some leg.
All of her outfits.
Fiery.
I want like at the ArcLight, the old theater we used to go to before it closed. They would often put out a suite of costumes from like a movie that's currently out. I would love to see the Glenn Close outfit lineup on mannequins for this.
A fuchsia blouse with like shoulder cutouts.
Oh, so many shoulder cutouts.
Yeah.
And then like ripped up denim.
The denim with the giant gaping holes in it.
And then she had those big gold hoop earrings that had crosses all around them too.
You guys, I mean,
and the bling necklace that just said Berta.
It's this movie is on Netflix, people. Listen, I need to say this right now. If you feel like you're who I'm talking to, if that makes sense to you at this point, stop this. It's on Netflix. You can watch this.
Yeah.
You can watch this movie.
And go in cold. Don't read the synopsis.
Go in frigid, freezing cold. And go in looking for Glenn, and she will lead you through this thing. I'm just telling you. We went hunting for dragons, and we found a squirming nest full of them.
It was a journey.
It was such a journey.
Dragons and grit, though, it's not like easy breezy at the beginning.
Easy.
No,
man.
None of it's easy.
I mean, this is like one of the realest. I mean, we'll get now that you know you're gonna watch it, but we'll get to the possessions. But this is like the realest exorcism movie since The Exorcist.
The Exorcist, yeah.
Like it's so real.
It's like the Slapsurist.
Yeah, it's
I
like
hear you.
The slap.
What are we talking about?
Yeah,
It's like the Exorcist, but the slapperist because she's like slapping her kid.
Yeah, I was with you, Lucas. I was
Billy was
I
right
was
on
right
it.
on
Yeah,
it.
we were just like, oh
Yes.
my god, my mouth's agape at the casual child abuse. I'm just like,
There-
whoa.
Okay.
And that's a hallmark for Lee Daniels. Like if you've seen if you've seen Precious based on the novel Push by Sapphire, that is like
Abuse.
the hardest form of
Yeah.
parental abuse. Monique won an Academy Award for how hard she
Yeah.
abused in
Yeah.
that.
yeah.
So-
no, the F-bombs are flying in the family, and it's like
It's tough to watch.
It's wild. It's real. It's like
very real, and it's like with all the problems this family's having, and then they got to deal with exorcisms on top of this.
yeah, they do not need any more problems.
and the smell of the stench of death in their basement.
But
But they just can't figure out.
There's it's like it's more refined than it used to be, Lee Daniels writing, but there's a bluntness to it still that is so wonderfully utilized in this.
Can I just say early on? Yes. So
You know what
all
I
of it
mean?
is so like gritty and terrifying. But to your point, early on, I was like, this is kind of reminding me of a Pedro Almodovar movie.
Right.
Because it's all of these like really strong actresses.
And
like,
they're just sizing each other up constantly.
and just sinking their teeth
Just
into
giving
it.
each other looks that are so pointed.
And he styled them like in crazy, they're glammed out and they are just
Yeah, it's like he told the writers, like, I want every line of dialogue to be like a challenge or the most inciting thing someone could say.
Yeah.
Because I want to capture that reaction or that emotion on camera.
I thought the acting was really good. And it was
all around.
I mean, it's a little like heightened, but that's what this needs. I mean,
Yes.
what are you going to do? Make an Exorcist movie and not heighten your shit?
The acting was very good, except for The Exorcist. I thought she was bad. I'm sorry. I did not think she
but
was
can we
good.
just, but what's interesting is we keep talking about it as an Exorcist movie, but for like a while, I didn't know that was where we were going.
At first I was like, I don't know if we should be covering this. This is like
This is a family drama.
very real melodrama. Like,
Yeah.
But things start stinking around the house, and some movies really give you that stench feeling, where you can smell it off the screen. And this movie does it really well. It does the little, fly sound effects, and people are like looking like things smell bad. There's some really blunt dialogue with the kids. I mean, I just gotta play this for you.
Which one of you two keeps farting? It stinks like shit. Oh.
After that fart dialogue, Lucas was like, too real.
Yeah.
It's too real.
Like, which one of you farted? It smells like shit in here. And you're like, that's the dead, rotting stench of death.
And that kicks off the haunted house aspect of it, because people just start smelling.
Something's up. The way
Something's
he's
rotting in the basement.
It's ominous.
Yeah,
it's like,
and it's a slow build up, but it's like the Alfred Molina section of Boogie Nights. It's this sustained unease that you're just like, what the fuck is this doing to me?
It is like legit an old gothic movie for a minute, where it's just a spooky,
Feels
dark
very
house
literary.
with weird shit going down.
I mean, I said this. I think this is, I don't know about scarier, but spookier than the last like 15 horror movies I've seen.
Yeah.
And that's, and that's just in the opening.
That's just in the opening.
That first act.
That's before it becomes a horror movie.
Yeah.
I mean, really, what a weird feat,
Got under my skin.
It totally gets under your skin.
I was just reacting so hard. I was just like shocked at some of this stuff.
And then the kids, she has 3 kids, and they start acting weird. And it just makes you want to curl up and hide. I mean, the first dragon, for how hard it hit us, it's got to be a dragon.
The Salad Dragon. A scene in a movie that is so bizarre, baffling, or transcendent that it instantly justifies the price of admission. Or Reese Witherspoon's leafy transformation in A Wrinkle in Time.
The youngest kid goes down. He's the one that the demon is circling and wanting to possess. And he goes down and gets some milk.
And he's lactose intolerant.
And he's lactose intolerant. So he just starts chugging this milk. It's just pouring all over him. And they cut to this wide shot of him just...
It's disgusting.
Fucking... we were just screaming.
It was so visceral. It made my gag reflex kick in. I was drinking a Tecate and eating some Doritos. And I was just like... I don't think I've seen this image like lately, but they're like hitting it so hard.
Yeah.
Like it's so good. It's just like,
and the sound design must be good.
Yeah. It was a great mix. It sounded great on your subwoofer because I could feel the vibration.
Do we just need to like set up a little more plot though?
I guess so. Yeah.
So we have mom.
We have mom. Oh yeah, right.
3 kids they've all just moved into this house. It's the 3rd house they've moved into.
Yes.
In a calendar year.
My one note is I wish we saw them.
Correct.
Right. I didn't
give us the moment where they're like, so this is our new house. Get some exposition.
I'm sure the original cut was 4 hours.
Yeah. And then Glenn Close
is the grandma, the mom.
Is grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a big house. It's a big, nice, spacious house.
Yeah.
But something's rotten.
Something's in the basement, and they pull out the dead cat.
There's a dead cat.
Save the cat.
But that's not all that's down there.
Which I thought when we set up that the kid was lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
And then we cut to him chugging milk like nothing. I was like, is this kid shitting in the basement after he chugs milk? Like, is this going to be just some weird fucked up thing? Because he's always going in that basement.
And
there's all these
here's
flies.
the thing with Lee Daniels, anything goes.
Yeah.
It's,
You never
I can
know.
see
it's
it could be
exciting
kooky,
because he has no shame. He's just like,
I thought it was going to be shit.
whatever excites him, he's like, I'm going to put that in the fucking
Whatever
movie.
fucked up idea comes
I'm
into
going
his
to put
head.
that
he's like,
right into the fucking movie.
It's kind of disappointed. It was just a dead cat.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And I was disappointed, that they didn't have one of the kids or the mom discover the dead cat. It was just like they're creeping around. They're creeping around. I'm like, oh, I cannot wait to see what it is. And then it's just cut to a guy finding a dead cat. And I'm like, is this what we're waiting for? And then it's like, yeah, but it's a dead cat. And I'm like, oh, so...
I mean,
he's just
nothing.
He's just teasing us. He's just teasing us.
We truly didn't know where the movie was going, and I thought it was fun because I usually, especially you guys, we've seen and covered so many Exorcist movies together, and Exorcist like
multiple.
We've fucking run the whole gamut.
It's
we
a
know all
dead
the beats.
genre. Yeah, it's just beaten to death.
Yeah, I mean, what was cool about this is they did a good job.
The beats.
Yeah, they did a good job of setting up that the mother was potentially abusive,
right?
And she'd gone to jail for something. We're not sure what.
They're nice and vague about that, yeah.
Right? But they're very much insinuating that she abused them, or there's abuse in the family. And then there's this scene where she hears all this knocking, and so she goes to check it out. And she's kind of been drunk or what have you. And she gets in there and they don't show the audience what happens.
Right.
So, and the kids are looking terrified.
Yeah.
And then you kind of think that it was the demon, but you're not quite sure.
You're not sure. But what's cool is everybody realistically looks scared.
Yeah.
In this movie.
Yeah. And it's like everybody's scared and you're like, well, what happened? And so then for me, the turn that was kind of really scary was that all these kids are kind of something's up with them. Like they're all being
fucked up,
possessed, and they're all doing creepy shit. And that at the same time, that doesn't usually happen in horror films.
That brings up our next dragon, and it's a fucking fat one.
It's a major dragon.
Yeah.
Double dragon.
There's like kind of an orchestral suite of the kids acting up. And it is so, because it's a slow motion car wreck where you're just like, oh no, what are these kids going to do?
Yeah, because we get hints early on that there's trouble at school.
Yeah.
But we don't really know what's going on. We don't see any of that.
And it's such like devilish trickster behavior.
Yeah, and it's just intercutting the three kids as like shit is going down, and
they're learning
and shit is going down.
They're learning about AIDS in class, and the older boy just starts laughing, and the teacher's like, "My brother died of AIDS," and
on the street,
he's just cracking up, and they are intercutting with the daughter who's at choir practice, and she just starts like menstrual bleeding all over the
their
place.
school uniforms are like so virginal white. It just makes it even like worse.
And then the youngest boy, the salad dragon rider, the one that drank the milk, he's in class and he's like, teacher, can I go to the bathroom? And she's like, yeah. And so then he just starts shitting in the classroom and everybody's like, what? And then he takes the shit and he throws it and it hits the teacher
right
hard in the mouth. Right in the mouth.
Right in the mouth. And the reaction is genuine.
Yeah,
it is like
really fucking good. Genuine,
horrified,
man.
Like
it is
horrified.
terrifying.
Yeah. Like that's, it's crazy is there was a kid in my 9th grade public school. Who will remain nameless. And no, it was not me. But
is it the bestie?
I heard he was expelled. He was expelled, but I heard it was because in the boys' locker room he ate his own dookie.
Oh,
and that's a cry for help if I've ever seen one.
And they did say in the hospital, because the kids go to the hospital.
Yeah.
They did say he ate his
the mom.
shit.
What's cool about the mom in this is that she's hard charging. She, her kids get bullied, so she marches right down the street, and there's like this like crazy orchestral music, and she kicks the bully right in the balls, and the music cuts.
That
music
got me.
cuts right on the kick.
I knew she was gonna like maybe smack him up their head. I did not sense a ball kick, so you're just like right off the bat. You're
And so
just whoa.
she's at the hospital, and the nurse or whatever is like, yeah, we don't really know what it is, and
she's like, there's nothing wrong.
There's nothing wrong. We'll get back to you if anything changes. And she's like, my kid ate his own shit in class today. Like she just like very and Mama in this is very straightforward as well. Like mother and daughter will constantly be like, fuck you, bitch.
Yeah.
Like real just cutting, straightforward, hard charging language.
Yeah.
You just like every other white bitch out here. Fake bitch. Get in my fucking car. What y'all doing? Fuck you, bitch.
And they're having a ball. You can tell. Even though the shit is so heavy, like unexpectedly heavy.
Yeah.
This movie.
And Andra Day, she's just like, she's alcoholic, but she has love for her kids, so you're rooting for her.
You're definitely rooting for her.
But but you're also like, is she? I mean, she does have a bit of a.
It's conflicted.
A dark
Yeah,
side.
you would believe it if she beat them.
I wish again, going back to them moving in, if there was like an established baseline, because it seemed like she was always kind of agitated and angry. And so I'm like,
again, I sense that there's a much longer sprawling tale told.
Yeah.
Like this could even be a limited series or something.
Right. It definitely could feel that way.
I was loving the music. The mom does some puking, and the sound effects are so
chunky,
chunky,
projectile.
It felt so real.
Forced out,
gurgly.
Like it felt like you woke up and threw up from alcohol.
Yeah. It was right on. Like, turn this movie way up.
But then in the middle of this, Glenn Close is flirting with her. Is it chemotherapy though?
Yeah.
It's not dialysis, right? Yeah,
chemotherapy.
It's her chemo nurse, like just pulling the move so
a sight
hard
for
on
sore
him.
eyes. Omar Epps.
Omar
Like,
Epps.
folks, just picture it. We got Glenn Close reclined in her chair.
Elegantly.
She's wearing a sensible, but I would say maybe a little slutty tank top, right?
Her top was zipped down with the pink bra exposed.
And and the nurse is walking over talking to her, and she's got a nice coy, seductress look on her face. And meanwhile, she's playing with the strap of her tank top to expose her brilliantly fuchsia bra underneath, and just playing with it the whole time, drawing
and the other
his
patients
attention.
are gossiping about her.
Yeah, it's great. And at some point, the woman across the way who's there with her presumably mother is like, she's got to stop that. And immediately Glenn Close is like, what are you saying? Are you talking to me?
What are you saying, bitch?
Can I help you?
It's great.
That's what I thought. But she says it to Omar Epps. Like, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
And then immediately just goes back to turning it on for him.
he's like, cash me outside.
I really wanted that storyline to be filled out to its completion. I mean, Omar, he serenades her karaoke style, and there's such a warmth there. I thought we were going to get a sex scene.
At the very minimum, we should have seen him get the news that Close is gone. That the shadow monster got her.
Yeah.
And then he's like, how can I help or something? And then he's like in the corner helping her.
Yeah. So what I need to let you guys know is I know, and Milster knows, but she doesn't know she knows a lot about this supposedly true story.
Oh.
So it was a extremely haunted house in Gary, Indiana, I believe, or somewhere in Indiana. And I guess I don't know too much about it, but a lot of crazy shit went down, and a lot of paranormal investigators have always been flitting around.
I knew it. When you said I knew, I know.
Millie and I went to this horror museum in Las Vegas called Zach Bagans Haunted Museum.
Zach Baggins?
Zach Bagans, like Bilbo Baggins.
Like Bilbo Baggins?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I mean, I can't recommend this because it's like 4 hours long.
It was so long. I was like, I would pay double for a shorter.
That's what we were saying by the end. We were so beat down.
Dude, that is like merciless.
But they'll just have a bunch of shit like, Jeffrey Dahmer's glasses. And then they have a room with like stuff from the boat that Natalie Wood fell off of.
What?
So anyway,
it's
anything and everything is in this place. But part of it toward the end was Bagans has this fucking video, and he bought this house apparently.
Yes, babe. Yes.
And demolished it, but he kept some of the dirt. And they have a recreation of some of the house in the museum with the dirt.
That's the house.
And Millie and I were just standing there by this fucking haunted dirt, like wanting to get the hell out of there.
Oh no,
that's so weird.
That's what this
That's
is based
a movie
on.
you just pitched.
Yeah.
Wow.
There was all sorts of crazy shit with the kids. The young child in the Deliverance that we were talking about. There's a point where he faces off against Monique in a padded cell, and he he breaks free from his restraints and like spider crawls up the wall. And that was part of the haunted lore of this story, is that a child either like levitated or was spider crawling around on the walls.
Whoa,
man!
So
creepy shit.
However much credence you give to,
I'm a believer.
Something like that, you're an Exorcist believer. But So yeah, we've been around that haunted dirt. Hopefully it didn't get into our.
I hope it's not connected to you.
Yeah, man.
It'd be a slow release if it was. I don't think we've been demoning around.
Yeah.
I would also like to note that listeners of the Lodgecast can enter in the code LODGE at checkout at Zach Baggins' House of Horrors for 20% off their ticket price.
Yes.
Baggins sounds like a Lodge character.
You can't, seriously, guys, don't do it. It's such a beatdown.
Yeah, but Monique is.
Did we mention Monique?
Well, no, we haven't talked about Monique.
Monique,
she's Child Protection Services, and she
shows up 30 minutes in.
It's like a 3-way battle between her and Andra Day.
Not even a word is said. They just look at each other and they're
Cynthia.
like, "Oh,
yeah." And Glenn Close is Alberta.
Ooh. I mean, that's worth the price of admission. Just the stare down they give each other.
Literal sparks, crackling.
Yeah.
It's so good. And there's a point, Glenn really hates Monique in this, and she comes down the stairs. This is fuck it, another salad dragon.
1, 2, 3.
It will capture your heart and it will tickle your loins when you see Glenn Close walk down the stairs in short shorts. I don't remember what her shirt was.
It was like a pink top.
Like a kid's pink top, no wig. So she just has little bits of hair and a baseball bat. You've never seen anything like this. She looks like Corey Feldman at the end of Friday the 13th Part 4, or maybe one of the trash humpers.
Made me laugh so hard because that is totally right.
So wild.
Legit.
So then there's this other woman kind of following her around, taking pictures with a disposable camera. This is set in 2011, by the way, so it's a period piece.
Yeah.
And it's assumed she's part of Child Protective Services or something.
She's not to be trusted. But finally, she tracks down the mom and she's like, you know what? We got to talk. You're in deep trouble. And this is, fuck it, I'm giving out dragons left and right. This is another dragon.
Smash cut.
4 dragons.
Smash cut to McDonald's.
Like a 90s McDonald's.
Nice 90s exterior shot of McDonald's.
A rain machine outside.
And they are straight up having their meeting, not in a fancy artisanal coffee shop, not in some place that looks cool. It's a McDonald's, which is strangely the coolest place they could have met.
Yeah.
Most relatable.
So relatable.
Sipping their McCafes.
So real.
Tray of fries that they were sharing.
What I mean,
but they weren't actually digging into the fries.
No, because it was real talk, but it was the gesture of ordering them as like a sign of kinship. Like we're in this together.
Yeah. The fries are there, and the fries were dished, and I was pissed.
Was that like a last second order? Were they like 2 McCafes?
And
and I loved how Audrey Day when she got up, she grabbed her cup. You know, it was like a real prop that her character.
The McCafe was highly valued in this.
Can't leave without my McCafe.
No, that did crinkle my brain because I'm a big stickler when I see product placement. I roll my eyes, but when it is in the universe of Glenn Close being Berta, it tracks. It's like this all fucking tracks.
And
where else are you going to go?
You're going to go to McDonald's.
Every dollar, you really got the sense that every dollar was accounted for.
Yeah.
I mean, they did not have a lot of cash.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was going to Glenn's chemo and other things. But so the McDonald's
it made
felt
sense.
correct.
It felt right. It rivals the Red Lobster in
I thought of that
Medea Homecoming.
I was like,
which we all witnessed together. So this woman who we've referred to before as the exorcist clearly states it's not an exorcism, it's the deliverance. And she says,
I don't do no exorcisms. I don't need an intercessor. Jesus Christ is my intercessor.
Take that, Kirk Cameron. This is what PureFlix dreams of making.
Oh my God. It makes such a hard sell for Jesus in this that it actually could have a chance at converting somebody.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's just get to the deliverance.
Yeah.
Because
well, we do have to mention Glenn Close passes.
She passes on.
She
gets tackled by a shadow monster.
She gets tackled by kind of like a shadow demon.
Or do you call him a smoky ghost?
There's a smoky ghost that lives in the house named Trey that's terrorizing everybody, and we assume that him or a demon posing as him possessed the smoke and fog around Glenn Close and knocked her dead.
Yeah.
Does that work?
Yeah, we were scratching our heads for a while.
Millie was like, I don't think they did what they thought they did there. Whatever it was.
Yeah, knocked her dead and lit the crucifix on fire.
So yes, the wooden crucifix is that was an image, you know, that was wild. So they end up at the haunted house with the deliverance woman and one of the kids, the youngest kid. The other two kids are staying at this orphanage place or whatever.
Religious orphanage.
A really quick foster solution for those two.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering, I'm having flashbacks to what was it? What was the first Russell Crowe one?
Pope's Exorcist?
Pope's Ex.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Father Amorth.
No, there's so many. There's so many. So I was having flashbacks because I'm like, is this kid going to be able to carry the weight of this demonic drive-out scene? And my question was gloriously answered by yet another dragon.
How it feels to chew 5
dragons.
Stimulate your senses.
Wow.
Is that 5 dragons?
I don't know, but it's not the kid. The demon takes the form, in some moments at least, of Glenn herself in full demon makeup and teeth.
Man.
Jagged teeth.
My God.
Scary.
So amazing. She looked like Bib Fortuna from Return of the Jedi. I mean, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So a hallmark with these exorcism movies is some of the crazy shit that they make the possessed person say. I'm not going to say what Glenn says.
Yeah.
I'll have Glenn tell you herself what she said.
Oh, man.
I can smell your nappy pussy.
So after exclaiming that particular line, she's shackled to this chair, but okay, you have to imagine this. It's sped up and she spreads her legs rapidly, wildly, and the shackles burst off, and then she kind of like rolls onto the ground.
Yeah, she's like barrel rolling.
Demon Glenn Close spreads her legs, breaks free of her restraints, and barrel rolls out of the chair onto the floor,
and
hissing in one take.
And shuffles along the floor a little.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're watching the right movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We come for this place for magic.
So she just kind of like lays down on the ground then and chills out for a minute.
Yeah, shout some obscenities. What's also kind of
is
like
that accurate?
What makes it like kind of funny too is that clearly like Glenn's like not getting the hang of her like teeth, so she's like talking around them like her like dentures are moving around. Like there's a weird like kind of like weirdness to her voice, which like at least for me I thought was kind of funny. Props to Glenn because she's a professional and trying her best.
She's selling it.
Jabba no bada.
Yeah. She does got a Bib Fortuna thing.
And then when we see the demon kid, they do like a projection of a different face onto his face. I thought it was Mike Tyson for a second.
I thought it was Gary Coleman.
I thought it was Tito Jackson.
So in the Mike Tyson, Tito, Gary Coleman realm, that's what was going on there. And he disappeared and like
teleports.
He teleported and Bishke very, very scholarly, very matter of factly said, a possessed child teleporting. That's new. And it is new.
It is.
That's like your worst nightmare, right? Because it can just teleport
He
like
was scurrying around upstairs.
Yeah.
Like behind you.
It was kind of that was kind of a scary moment.
That's my worst nightmare.
Yeah. So
like, where is the little bastard?
Then the mom is in the basement and she ends up facing a demon version of herself, which is, that's time honored,
malignant a little bit.
Time honored chestnut.
The id versus the ego,
but
the self versus the shadow self.
Brutal. It is brutal.
And lots of bones cracking.
And the demon self is just kind of like chilling, like laying back in the cut, just kind of like controlling her with her mind and just kind of like zoned out. It's really creepy. And speaking of ground and pound, I mean, usually you're on top of somebody pounding down, but this is grabbing the head and pounding it down into the cement over and over
with an invisible culprit.
It's all invisible, so she's like getting contorted like the Suspiria remake kind of. But this felt even more brutal.
Yeah, because the squelch was turned up to 11.
It was like tomatoes on a marble counter.
Yeah.
Which brings us to yet another dragon.
Whoa.
Dragon. Part 6. An adventure in comedy.
This is the Deliverance sequence itself. So the whole movie, the mom has been anti-Jesus. It's like, Mom, I don't want to go to your church. My kids aren't going to your stupid church. The mom's trying to bring Jesus into her life, trying to put the cross up. Cross catches on fire, yada, yada, yada. But now she's like, I ain't got no other choice but to rebuke thee in the name of Jesus Christ. And she receives the word and drops to her knees and starts speaking in elaborate tongues. The exorcist woman is out of commission at this point. So the mom's got to do all the lifting. And it's just this crazy symphony of speaking in tongues. You see her children in the foster rooms
getting stigmata,
doing well,
floating and like
biting themselves,
biting their own flesh off. This movie is fucking wild. And it is just like Lee Daniels knows what he's doing too. He's like, I'm just gonna fucking blow you out of the water here. Exorcist believer wishes it had a thimble.
Yeah.
Half a thimble of whatever this fucking sauce, Chucky sauce is. I mean, my God. I think the demon just catches on fire. The demon tries to reason with her in like kind of a realistic way. It's like, wait. Let's
cut a deal.
Let's maybe not do this. And she's like, I rebuke you.
We bitches need to stick together.
Yeah. She's like, maybe don't do this. And she's like, fuck you. And the demon catches on fire. And then what? What else?
Everyone's cured.
And then it's cut to packing up the house.
Time to leave the house.
Monique comes over and is like, look, I'm going to try to put a word in and get your kids back. And she's like, if the Lord wills it, they will be returned.
And to be fair, like I was hoping that, I mean, the amount of times this poor woman's face got smashed into the concrete, I'm like, you'd be dead after one. But this is like 12 times. And they did show that her face was
swollen.
Fucked
up.
But still, she would have been dead.
Yeah.
But kudos to the makeup department. Yeah. And then
she's just like hanging out with Monique, hugging her. They're like, and then it's a freeze frame on the hug.
Well, my favorite part of that was, Monique's like, after the mom is like, God wills it, I'll get my kids back. Monique's like, man, I wish I had your kind of faith. And the mom is like, well, maybe this will help. And opens up a box and is like, it's a cross necklace.
It's a cross necklace.
Probably
it's a basic ass cross necklace.
Cue sad horn.
Probably her mom's cross necklace.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool.
In a nice box.
Yeah.
I mean, wild that she just is fully a convert at the end. And I mean, that's the end.
And she does get the kids in a final shot.
They have
what is it, 6 months later?
Yeah.
And then
like she got her kids back.
She got her kids back. They're headed to Philly. They're going to try to work things out with Dad.
And then they show a picture of the real haunted house.
And they show the
real lady.
Mom. Yeah.
And the real lady, yeah. So, I mean, a lot spookier than I thought it was going to be. Like maybe 100% spookier than I thought it was going to be. And, you know, that extra chill ran up my spine when I realized we had trod next to the same dirt.
Yeah.
Zach
We'll have to find a picture.
Zach Baggins.
Yes.
Fucking Zach Bilbo Baggins.
I cannot wait to find out how many bones we deliver to these Deliverance bones. Who is first tonight? Who is going to set the table? Brother Ben, you are first to bone.
First to bone.
I think I mentioned earlier that one of the things that I was thinking about was Almodovar, but like this is what's crazy about this thing is like I was thinking Almodovar, but then I was also thinking like at various points Stephen King, both like The Shining, the idea of is it ghosts or the abusive parent?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And then I was also thinking of Stephen King in his 90s phase where he was doing like Dolores Claiborne and he had these strong women. I was thinking about Henry James' Turn of the Screw. I'm thinking of all of these insane references. And the fact that like Lee Daniels is doing all of this.
He's doing it.
And he's doing it as this pulpy but still very kind of elegant Netflix movie.
Right. It's wild.
It's wild. And it's just not what I was expecting at all. Coming in, really the only thing I knew was that Glenn Close was going to serve some looks and be a giant meme.
Yeah.
And mission accomplished. She delivered.
Yeah.
She fucking dunked.
She always dunks on
But
them.
I wasn't actually also expecting this like kind of spooky, well-made horror movie.
Yeah.
It lost me a little bit when we went super religious. It lost me a little, like it lost a little bit of the special sauce there.
Yeah.
But I think it is a super hearty, solid 3 boner.
There you go.
And then I am going to bump myself.
Oh, shit.
And do I'm going to give solid 3.5. Solid 3.5.
Wow.
Brother Ben self-bump.
What?
It's a Brother Ben bump, y'all.
Wow.
Holy shit. Okay. That set the table just like I wanted it to be set. Brother Bishke, what are you doing?
I'm glad this is not connected to Father Amort because
We've broken free from that universe.
I can rise above the Amort line.
Oh shit.
And no, I think this, especially in the early going, I was like, this looks great. All the performances,
does look great.
All the performances are quality. There's lots of tension going on. I love the kind of mirroring of the real life tension with the supernatural tension.
Yeah.
I will say, like, in the last act, like the exorcism is probably like the least exciting part to me. Like it goes,
we've seen it
so many times, and it goes on for quite a long time. So I'm gonna have to think about it a little more, but right now I will give it 2.5 bones.
2.5 bones.
Yeah, but it was much more than I expected, and I do recommend seeing it.
You guys, it's on Netflix. You can watch it right now. It'll be fun? ? Lodge Mistress Milster, you are next.
I'm sort of a little bit on the page of it started out really well because it felt very grounded. The acting was really good. There was so much drama and, tension in the family. And then you're like, no, they don't deserve to be haunted.
Right.
Yeah.
It felt so real that when the haunting came in, it just made that seem more real.
Yeah.
So, and scarier because I really was like, oh no, this family does not need this.
It made me realize it's been a while since I've actively wanted to protect the victims in a horror movie.
Yeah. It was like
you're supposed to want to do that all the time, but very rarely do you actually give a shit.
And it was refreshing because it was the way that they were all interacting and all of that was just very it was very strong. So you're like, well, maybe they have a shot against this demon because this lady seems like she's like a baller, know?
Yeah.
But it really did go off the rails for me, kind of after, when that exorcist, when the Deliverance lady came in,
You didn't like her.
It really went off the rails for me. I felt like it was stock. I felt like it was, all the things about the exorcism were super stock. The religious stuff hit me like a Kirk Cameron. Like it was just, it was too much. It did not, I did not like it. Like all the stuff about like kidnapping him from the hospital and getting him back to the house. And it was just like, no. And then when the boy disappeared, when he was like, when he teleported,
That's new.
he disappeared and teleported. I got drawn back in briefly.
Nice.
Okay.
But then the final sort of like battle with herself, and then like the way that it multiple endings, like no. So I thought there was a lot there, and like he did some great stuff. But I am with Bishy 2.5.
2.5 is still great.
Okay.
I'll take it, brother Josh. You were liking some of those looks.
I was liking a lot of those looks. I
This is
started.
It's your first Lee Daniels.
Yeah, first Lee Daniels
Right in the deep
certified. I mean, I was enjoying it for a little while. I was actually really surprised at the quality. Like a bunch of other people were saying, like the performances were pretty solid. I was kind of surprised by like the intensity of the social issues stuff. Which I mean, from what I know of the trailers I've seen of Lee Daniels, is kind of his bag. I'm assuming
He doesn't shy away from anything. Yeah.
No.
I mean, really, all I really know is like Precious, and also the porn parody Fresh Ass, based on a novel Tush by Assfire.
We should just end the show there.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
Brother Josh out.
But for me, like, that was kind of like the push and pull, like the intensity of the social issues, and like then the horror. Like, it to me kind of just muddied the waters a little bit. I don't know. It felt like they kind of were in opposition to each other. I didn't really feel like they.
We didn't even really need the horror. Like the horror was already there.
Exactly, and like I mean, as Ben brought up earlier, with like The Shining, like the real horror is like domestic life.
Sure, absolutely.
I mean, and also, Indian burial ground, etc.
Yeah.
But
the real nightmare is the American dream.
Yeah. And I don't know. I did think the ambiguity was really interesting of like, she does slap her kid in the face with like a ring on and like cuts his lip at the beginning, which is really intense.
Yeah.
I would have liked more Glenn Close. I was really sad when she left us.
But she came back.
She went off. And Brother Bishke and Brother Ben were starting to kind of sell me on this.
Hell yeah.
Millie kind of brought me back to the place that I was because at first I was worried that I was like, oh man, am I just like going to be the odd one out? Well, we'll see. But then Millie took the turn, and I realized that's about where I took the turn too.
Yeah.
And for me, Millie was hit the nail on the head when she referenced Kirk Cameron, because that exorcism scene just felt so it felt so cringy to me. I was like, sorry, Deliverance scene.
Yes, right. It's not an exorcism.
Like when she started speaking in tongues, I was like,
I loved it.
Like it was so corny and just
corny,
like
a choice, a risk.
Yeah, like guys, speaking in tongues is never fun unless it's like evil. When you're like good in doing it, it's just like
right. Yeah.
Girl, be quiet.
That's a good point.
And then speaking of like, this could have been like a long series, like her battling herself seemed to kind of like lead to like, I don't know, there should have been more inner demon stuff. I don't know. Anyway, that's all to say.
How many bones, Josh?
I'm going to break it down to 2 bones.
2? Give him 2.
That's a limp 2 bones.
Deliver him 2 limp bones.
Stand with Father Mort.
Utah, give me 2.
All right, hothead. I literally have no idea. No idea.
But how many bones?
The power of the hound compels me. I had really low expectations going into this. Like Brother Josh said, when I saw the Glenn Close still or screenshot, it was like in one of our group chats, I was like, oh yeah, that's a certified Lodge movie. Like Lee Daniels too. Woo. woo, like, what are we in for? And I remember Lodge Master, like, you booking this out like months in advance. Like, do not watch. I repeat, like, do not watch. Like, this is on our safe list.
4-alarm lodge emergency. Lock it down.
And I like honestly forgot about it. And then all of a sudden,
everybody did. Nobody's talking about this.
We're doing this, and I'm like, what are we doing? And so when it started, and we thought, it was like Ridley Scott produced.
Like, ooh, Ridley.
Like
Ridley getting freaky.
I was taken aback because, like, for a Netflix movie, it did look really good.
Yeah.
Like the first half, I was just like, wow, this is, gritty and grounded. And it's like showing me, because I haven't seen Precious based on the novel Push by Sapphire.
Shit.
I've seen a lot of clips of it. I've seen bits and pieces of it, but it's just, I just couldn't bring myself to sit down and watch it like from start to finish.
That's probably a lot of people.
Yeah. And so here to force the viewer into this abusive household, where a single mother is like struggling to like pay her bills, it's just visceral stuff that like.
Yeah, Lucas was screaming through the first half of the movie. He was just like, too real. Oh, fuck. Oh, no.
Like if you have kids or your friends have kids or you work with kids, we see kids get abused. It's like, oh man, like it just strikes a deep chord.
That's the cool thing about not like when we watch movies not in the theater, Lucas can just fucking let it rip.
Just thank you with some Tecate and some vape and some fucking like leftover Lodgiversary snacks, which are great and plentiful. But like, yeah, as the movie went on, I felt like we're losing our way. Like the first half felt very focused.
We're straying from God,
and they were setting things up with like Omar Epps and Monique, and I was like, oh, this is gonna all come to a head. With like the Deliverance, where they're all gonna like work together.
I thought they were all gonna be. That's very Exorcist Believer, though.
Yeah, like as a team or something.
That's what happened in Believer.
And so by the time we get to the back half and it is the Deliverance, it's like, yeah, we've seen this a lot before. And gosh, like, wouldn't it have been cool if there was no, spider walking, levitating, voice modulation changing, if it was like their own version of it without any of the bells and whistles or smoke and mirrors, if it was just straight. Like, is the kid just mentally ill? Like, or is he possessed? Or I felt like you could have gone all the way with it. And yeah, it was sad to see Glenn Close's character get killed off so abruptly or like not giving her due or her like actual death scene. But then it was cool how she came back later during the Deliverance. But I thought they didn't go all the way with it. I felt like there should have been much more backstory between Glenn Close and Andra Day.
I thought that was all going to be coming out.
And I thought that all should have, been like a therapy session for them during the Deliverance. And I thought like her off-screen, like baby daddy or ex-husband, who I guess was in Iraq in 2011, question mark.
Big question
not
mark.
Afghanistan, but I thought like, well, he could have been like a casualty killed overseas and then he could have showed up in the Deliverance too. There could have been all these demons, like literal demons from her past, like showing up, and then like, instead of her speaking in tongues and having to use like fire or whatever to like cast her out, it could have been more emotional. It could have been more spiritual. It could have really just, been like the first half of the movie. And I think it would have worked, like 10 times as good.
Was that what you just did? A live rewrite?
Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Maybe. I don't know.
It was.
What I'm saying is definitely technically solid and well made. So I know it's 2.5 bones, but I'm going to Brother Ben bump it up to 3 because the audition scene between Monique and Andra Day, where Andra Day is frustrated and pissed off, and she's like, from black woman to black woman, like, you ain't fucking helping me.
Yeah.
And Monique is like, excuse me? Like, I actually had a kid.
Yeah,
like,
that was Monique.
And I turned around for 2 minutes or for 2 seconds. And when I turned back, that car killed my baby. And as they're talking, as they're doing this scene, I'm feeling myself like choking up. And I like, and we literally like, I've been just hooting and hollering for like the first hour. And all of a sudden, like on a dime,
hit you in the feels.
I'm getting like this, like my eyes are watering and I'm just like, oh,
the hothead's fire's
like,
getting extinguished.
These two women having this moment
by the tears of Jesus.
Monique's dead kids and like what the other woman's kids are going through is like getting to me. And so that is the definition of 3 bones. That is good acting. That's a good story. And I could recommend this to any one of my family members because, we all grew up Catholic. So there you have it.
That's a Brother Ben bump to 3.
Nice. It's a Brother Ben bump, y'all.
Wow. Milster will tell you, I don't really have a lot of patience for grief horror anymore.
Same.
Or trauma horror, or dealing with your grief, or dealing with your trauma. It's it seems like every other movie is like, the lower the budget too, the higher the grief count, the higher the trauma count. Because all your production value is
in the dead woman's house.
Is the shit that you're saying happened long ago. So, but I actually thought it was kind of creepy and worked here, like the basement as the culprit and the metaphor for all of their demons, like down in this basement, stuffed down, and they have to confront them. Like it's not new. It's not like a teleporting possessed child kind of new, but it was effective in this, and I did think it looked good, and I thought the performances were fantastic, and like, I don't want to say hammy because they weren't hammy,
no,
but they were dialed in and having fun, even though the material was super dark. You can't throw this on at
Sunday on noon or something.
No. This is a late night affair for those who have seen too many Exorcist movies and want to see it done right for once.
Yeah. It's a good palate cleanser for sure.
It's great. And, my expectations were so low. Easy 3 bones. But I look up and Brother Ben's spider walked up onto that ceiling, and I'm seeing him up there grinning at me and wagging his tongue at me. And I want to go up there too. So I'm Brother Ben bumping it to 3.5 bones.
Wow.
Amen.
It's a Brother Ben bump, y'all.
Wow. Completely unexpected. I think we need to all take a trip to the Church of Rotten Tomatoes to settle that score.
Let's do it.
It's time I settle the score.
We got it, because here's where my head is scratching.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
If you know, don't say.
If you know, don't say.
Uh-oh.
I think it has a reputation for being bad.
Right.
So...
30%?
But how low?
Critics 30%.
Glenn Close can't go 30, right?
Yeah.
40%.
47%.
42.
No. You guys were in the vicinity.
Oh, 32?
No. 35.
Ooh.
That's
so lame. That's lame.
There's so much horror shit out there that gets like 80, 90%.
Yeah.
I don't understand it, really.
Well, yeah, I don't understand it. But
is it the vulgarity, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe
it's child abuse. The child, people could just turn it off.
Too real.
Yeah, after the first 20 minutes of her smacking.
This is critics.
Like, why do they hate it so much?
Audience has got. It
looks
lower.
good. Is
audience
close?
lower?
No, audience is higher.
Sort of the Christian. I don't know.
Yeah, that could be it.
Critics are against Christ.
It felt really rushed to me, and like, I don't know.
But I don't know. That seems
low.
That seems cruel.
Audience
low. Audience 500 ratings.
Do we go lower?
I'd go higher.
I think it has to be higher.
60?
No, I would say like 50.
I'm gonna say 63.
I'm gonna say 42.
I'm gonna say 50.
Very close, Lodge Master.
40, I don't want to be close.
41.
Lame.
Ouch.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't deliver like the shocks that the audience is used to.
It's not a conventional horror.
Yeah, correct. I think people are expecting like a like scripted, plotted, like Hollywood movie. And as we were watching, I think Brother Ben mentioned it has like this Southern Gothic literary adaptation vibe. Like this was a book or something. Like besides being a true story. Like
I think maybe people thought it was going to be like outright more campy than it was. Or something.
Right.
I don't know.
It was too real for audiences.
It was too real.
Yeah, it's pretty painful.
Yeah, it was real.
I wish we had gotten like a 5-minute sex scene between Glenn Close and Omar Epps.
At least
I would have gone to 4.
Like helping them at the end.
I would have gone to 4 bones.
Yeah, same. I would have.
Imagine how heartbreaking it would be if Omar Epps was trying to revive Glenn Close and couldn't, and is like trying to get her back or get a pulse back, and she's gone, and he has to absorb that.
There is a sex scene in Lee Daniels' Shadowboxer where I believe it's at a picnic, perhaps, and it's Cuba Gooding Jr. and Helen Mirren, and Cuba Gooding Jr. is just full on humping, and you see his buttocks flex in the fucking afternoon light. I wanted that with Mima.
Mima and Omar.
What you have to settle for, though, are you forgetting about Glenn Close putting a hair weave in her daughter's hair, quoting Valley of the Dolls.
Yes.
Oh, that was
right.
right. That was a crouton.
Shit.
That was a total fucking crouton.
Salad crouton.
Yeah.
It's 3 generations of women braiding each other's hair and watching Valley of the Dolls and reciting it.
They know every line.
Beautiful. So
And the 2 boys are just on this giant beanbag, just like looking at him, like, you know, looking stoned. It's great. I
this
mean,
movie's got a lot.
It's got a lot going on. The critics are wrong. The audience is wrong.
Yeah.
We're the only ones on the planet who are right.
We got the salad dragon tonight.
We're too real for all that
But
shit.
our expectations were low.
That's
Don't
true.
forget.
True.
We
Yeah,
weren't
that's
going
true.
in high. And that's why we gave it probably higher bones because
Totally.
our expectations were low.
Yeah.
Millie, you're right to temper us a bit, but I fucking got delivered tonight. Oh, and it feels so
Nice.
fucking good. Brothers,
Let's all go into our tongues now.
Brothers Ben and Josh and Lodge Mistress Milster, thank you so much for taking this wild ride with us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And now let us all speak in the mother tongue. Love it light.
I will understand someday, one day. You will understand always, always from now until then. When it will be right, I don't know what it will be like. I don't know. We live in hope of deliverance from the darkness that surrounds us. Hope of deliverance. Hope of deliverance. Hope of deliverance from the darkness that surrounds us. Hope of deliverance. I will understand. Hope of deliverance. I will understand.
Fresh Ass, based on a novel Tush by Assfire.